Voice of the hopeless, control the game like the coaches. Stay dropping gems, we the winners, coaching, you know this. Never coasting, always elevating, staying focused. When it's all said and done, we the winners, coaching. Yeah, we winners, coaching. It's all said and done, we winners, coaching.
How have you and your team implemented new strategies to target gun violence?
So one, I want to say that I don't believe that there's any one thing that is responsible for that significant reduction. I think Philadelphia learned that strategy people have heard me talk about called the PIE, the prevention, intervention, and the enforcement. To me, that's comprehensive, and it's a holistic approach. But the value starts from the ground up. And the support via our anti-violence grants for neighborhood, community-based organizations that are focused on the front end, right? Before, I think we were heavy on the back end. But prevention and intervention, the violence interrupters, the credible messengers in neighborhoods, I think that is where we have seen the most gain. And then creating programs that give our young people access to the opportunity to gain academic enrichment. Like, so now I'm geeked up because you done told me about something I didn't know about, the winners culture, right?
Yes.
How huge and amazing to see you understand how to work all this complex equipment with all this new technology. I'm a dinosaur. I couldn't do any of what it is that you do. But you don't know that that's an option, like you said, until you see somebody like you who does it. And that's why the work that you do, the folks who were just in the conference, who I had the opportunity to talk with, it is so essential. But listen, working in partnership with the prevention, intervention, the enforcement side. Law enforcement has a role here. They put their lives on the line on a daily basis to protect and service. We've got a great leader in Commissioner Bethel. So with Commissioner Bethel, Public Safety Director Adam Gear, I feel good about Philadelphia's future. Yes. We have to keep our foot on the gas and keep doing more of what we're doing right now, giving people access to opportunities and giving them a reason to have hope and pride in who they are, the communities that they live in, and for our children, the people who care for them. Yeah. Sometimes we talk about getting young people engaged. That's important, but we forget about the people who care for the young people. You have to take care of them. That's how you solidify a household. Yeah. So I think it's a comprehensive approach, and we're going to continue for the 4 years that I'm here. That's what I can speak affirmatively about, working in partnership with City Council, President Johnson, Public Safety Director, Chair of the committee, Curtis Jones, Catherine Gilmore Richardson, Isaiah Thomas, all members of council, working with all of them to make sure this is a priority. So I'm geeked up and supporting the winners culture. It's on. I'm like you got me now.
We really appreciate it. I have to say, in our research to do this interview, we were highly impressed. Because we heard the numbers on the surface, but as we continue to dive into it, it's amazing. So we're big supporters. Second question, as a native Philadelphian, what drives your passion for a safer Philadelphia streets, and why is it important to fund anti-violence grants and initiatives to succeed in that goal?
If someone like me can become the mayor of the city of Philadelphia, 6th largest city in the nation, birthplace of democracy, first woman, if somebody like me can get access to that opportunity, when every statistic imaginable said that I was supposed to be a teenage mother and just wayward, and my life hasn't been perfect, but that I just like someone like me to be here. That's my driving passion. I'm a praying woman. God doesn't make mistakes. Every experience that I've gone through in my life, you heard me mention earlier, I was born to a single teenage mother. I'm a product of humble beginnings. My grandmother and grandfather raised me. I grew up with my grandmother receiving public assistance, welfare for me, cash assistance, and food stamps. I know what's receiving subsidized cheese is like. You hear me talk about that 5-pound block of cheese and that butter. I'm a first-generation college graduate, Lincoln University. I'm a first-generation Ivy League graduate, the University of Pennsylvania, former state rep, former high school. That's why I smiled when you told me you were a high school English teacher.
Yeah,
I'm a certified secondary English teacher. I also taught English as a second language to immigrant children and adults. None of those things, those milestones and accomplishments in my life, none of that is possible without men and women in the village. The village is the neighborhood. I'm a product of the village. I'm an Oak Lane Wildcat, so those were coaches, strong black men who founded this neighborhood-based organization because they wanted something positive for their children to be involved in. Oak Lane is still standing strong some 50-plus years later on. I'm a product of that. Kearney Anderson, E. Stephen Collins, Thera, Patty Jackson. I was an intern at WDAS radio station. Marion Tasco, Augusta Clark, Dwight Evans. People in politics and government who saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And this part is probably the most significant. I see a lot of people thinking that they have to be someone else other than their authentic selves in order to achieve any semblance of success or prosperity in life. I talk about who I am and where I come from so people know it's all right to be who you are. I'm looking at your hair. You wear your hair natural. My son, he has locks, but he's got twists now, right? To be able to tell my beautiful black son, Langston, you can be anything that you want to be as your natural self, the way you like it, if you are willing to listen and take advantage of every opportunity that's presented to you. So that drives me. I'm always thinking about the Cherelles of the world. And so I'm a little biased, right? Because I am always thinking about the people who are not growing up with a silver spoon in their mouths. I mean, and some people say, well, that's wrong. She only cares about, no, I don't care about your race, sex, class, socioeconomic status, zip code, religion, sexual orientation, or identity. None of that matters to me. But I am concerned about giving people who haven't naturally had access to economic opportunity. And that's education, that's training, and then those are career opportunities. So I'm driven by my humble beginnings, and you just made me dig deep.
Yeah, that's what we were going for, and you knocked it out the park.
Thank you.
And I also would like to say I really appreciate that, because that's one of the reasons why I wear my hair like this is because the kids used to look up to me in the classroom. They used to say, like, Mr. I taught in North Philly, Broad and Susquehanna, and they were like,
what school?
Tech Ferry.
Okay, yeah.
And they used to say, Mr. James, like, you feel like a voice to us, like you look like us, and so that inspired me to keep going and to show them, like, we can do so much, y'all. So that really meant a lot.
Representation matters.
I really appreciate that. So last question, right? Mayor Parker, you have a young African-American male son. When your term is over, what do you foresee the city of Philadelphia looking like for him in the future?
I was just, they asked me this something similar last night, and I thought it was a good question. How will you measure whether or not you've been successful as a mayor? Whether or not you've been a good mayor, like, how will you measure it? And for me, it'll be both qualitative and quantitative milestones and metrics. It will continue to be those stats that you just mentioned. What does violence and crime look like in the city of Philadelphia? Will we continue seeing a reduction? Will we continue seeing more grassroots organizations actively engaged? That's one. But I've been working in government and politics for so long, I'm jaded. Yeah. So I don't believe what politicians say. I watch what they do. Like James Baldwin. James Baldwin said, I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. So for me, will the city be safer? Is it cleaner? Have I used that as an opportunity to get more Philadelphians connected? So we have a problem with the city. People call us Philadelphia, right? I'm trying to end that moniker. How have I used that problem as an economic opportunity vehicle, a pathway to help get people connected to jobs? That's a valuable job, helping to clean up our city. Is it safer? Is it cleaner? Is it greener? And is there really economic opportunity for all? How will you measure it? How many more people are employed? How many more people own homes? Somebody, when I was on the campaign trail, because I talked a lot about increasing home ownership in the city, and I said I'm unapologetic about that. I had someone to tell me that you are biased towards home ownership. What about all of the renters? Because the number of renters in Philadelphia, we used to have more homeowners. Now we're 50-50, or it may be more renters even than homeowners now. And that makes me angry because home ownership, particularly for Black and brown working class communities, it is the first tool, the most important asset that we can have that helps us to begin building generational wealth, so that when you pass on, you're leaving more than bills and your funeral expenses to your next generation. And that number has dwindled. Have I increased the amount of home ownership available in the city of Philadelphia? And for those who are renting, it has basically become like we lack enough affordable housing in the city of Philadelphia. It is at a crisis level. Cherelle, how many more people have you given access to the resources so that they can live in an aesthetically appealing, comfortable environment where they are not renting poor or house poor, spending more than 3/4 of their income for their housing? So the children in school, you heard me mention coding, playing chess, robotics, STEM, STEAM.
Yeah.
How many more young people have you connected to those programs? How many more young people are in the building trades? Guess what job AI and technology is never going to take? You're never going to take the job of a plumber.
Yeah.
Can't. And guess what? I am going to be paying student loan debt back to the University of Pennsylvania until I'm dead. Do you know that there are plumbers who make twice the amount of what I earn today, but they earned a skill that pays more than a living wage? I mean, that is amazing. We pay, we take out these loans to get access to opportunity and a higher education. And there are other industries where you could earn 2-3 times the amount of someone, you and I, who we're certified. NTE passed, Praxis passed in order for us to become certified high school English teachers. But there are other pathways too for those people who don't want to go to college. For wherever you want to go, what have I done to open up the pathway, give you access, and you don't need a hookup to get it? You don't have to know, such and such, he or she is in this position, so they have me connected. No. Standard operating procedures available to the Cherelle Parkers of the world and grandparents like my grandparents who raised me, so that they know I can get my child or my grandchild into this program, and this will help them move forward. That's how I'll measure whether or not I've been successful, and whether or not Philadelphia is a city of neighborhoods, and it's a lot of neighborhood pride. North Philly and South Philly are different. West Philly and the Northeast are different. Uptown is different from Center City. There's a great deal of pride and distinction about saying, I'm from Uptown, I'm from North Philly. If there's that hope and increase and the hope and the pride about us all being, that's where my one Philly, a united city, comes from. If more people are Philly proud, then I would say, little girl, thinking about my grandmother and my mentors, Mary and Tasco, I would say to myself, little girl, you've done well. Wow. And you've delivered.
Well, we really appreciate that. One thing you spoke about your grandparents a lot. My grandparents meant a lot to me. When Obama got inducted as president, they put the picture the next day Unfortunately, they passed before you got elected, but they never missed a vote. They instilled in me to never miss a vote. So, you know, I voted for you. I, did my due diligence on behalf of them. And I know your picture will go up in the living room the next day. We appreciate you.